Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Blissful Living Show. This is a phenomenal time to be with us because I've got two phenomenal ladies with me. And, we're doing something a little bit different. Generally, it's just audio, but today you get the pleasure of experiencing their beauty as we have this conversation on the Blissful Living Show. And then you can also look at the audio, listen to the audio later, look at the video again. But you are in a very special place if you are seeing our faces right now, because these ladies are unstoppable. And they are part of the collaborative project that we have going called Unstoppable, Being Fierce, Fearless, and Unfuckwithable in Life and Business. And so it is my pleasure, my honor to bring them here. Before we get started, I want to thank the sponsors of the show, the Blissful Living for You at blissfullivingforyou.com. And that is the spot where you will be able to pick up the book when it becomes available. And then I also want to thank the sponsor, All Day Cable Inc. at alldaycableinc.com. Thank you for supporting us and sponsoring our show. Now, let me tell you a little bit about these ladies, because they are, like I said, bad. And I mean bad in a good way. So let me tell you about Miss Vicki. So Miss Vicki, just prior to early retirement, became involved with her first multi-level marketing business. And I know I'm going to mess this up. Neora? Is that right, Vicki?
That's
Neora.
Perfect.
Okay. And Neora is an anti-aging and wellness company that just added weight management to their product line. While her businesses kept her busy and energized, she stays involved, also volunteering at her church and with Toastmasters. Now, Vicki has devoted the last 10 years to building the District 44 Youth Leadership Program and continues to help children between the ages of 8 and 17 improve their confidence by instructing them on effective communication skills via the Toastmaster program. And in her personal time, Vicki believes that one of her keys to success is continually investing in her personal development. Now, stay tuned for more from Vicki. And our next phenomenal lady is Ms. Kim Lee Naylor, and she is a licensed builder and owner of Nail Right Construction Company. Woohoo! Miss Kim Lee is a member of the National Association of Black Women in Construction, NABWIC organization, and currently serves as the national president. I told you I'm bringing it on, you guys. These ladies are bad. Her primary goal is inspiring Black women to pursue careers in construction, an industry that supports the wealth transfer for economic empowerment of Black communities. She has been widely celebrated for her work that she does in the community and recognized as a community leader in the Who's Who's in Detroit 4th edition, and is recognized as one of Detroit's top CEOs in 2020 in the Who's Who's in Black Detroit 9th edition. So those are my guests for today, Miss Vicki and Miss Kim Lee. And so, ladies, first of all, thank you for being here and taking time out of your day to spend with us. We've been working on this phenomenal project that's just about ready to be, I don't want to say birth, but just about ready to be shared. Our baby's about ready to be shared with the world. And so I want to give as much kudos and heartfelt love and energy to you ladies for saying yes. And I want to start with the first question. And my first question is, when I approached you about this project, now Kim Lee, we known each other for girls, we got some years behind us now, but Vicki, you didn't know me. You didn't know me. And so when I approached you ladies with this project, what part of the project that I discussed with you or described the project to you made you want to be a part of the project? And I'm going to go ahead and start with you, Vicki, since you really didn't know me.
I know it was really just through social media that you and I met, and we had an interview together. And I think what really impressed me to go forward with this was one, we just got along so well. I couldn't imagine that it wouldn't be tons of fun to do the project with you. And two, you were kind of like pushing buttons in me that, never did I think I would ever have that author by my title of things to do. But you just made me sort of challenged. And I thought, 2022, I'm going to be challenged as many ways as I can.
Oh, beautiful. Wow. That's nice to hear. Well, thank you, Miss
Mhm.
Vicki, and thank you for saying yes. I really do appreciate it. And we did have a really good
We
conversation.
did.
It was in the morning and you had to pop off. It was so good you had to actually pop off because you had a meeting that you had to go to. But yeah, it was a good
Typical.
conversation. I remember the weather and what a trip. I remember the weather and everything, how it was here in San Antonio. But that's another story. Now, Miss Kim Lee. What made you say yes? Because even though we've known each other and we've done some things, we hadn't seen or talked to each other really for a
No,
couple
no.
years, other than on social media. So when I approached you, like, you were like, okay, I don't want to spoil it, but what made you say yes?
Well, first of all, it was just so great to hear from you, because we've just kind of
Oh,
brushed each other in the social media. And you said, I'm working on this project. I want you to be a part of it. Let's chat, let's talk. And so I'm like, let me catch up with her. So it's just great to connect and just to see what you're doing and what this possibly could be. I have a mantra in life, say yes, evaluate later.
I
And so
love
I
that.
said yes. But when you gave me the title, I was really at a point where being unstoppable was necessary. I think I told you in the little response, I said, this is going on, this is going on, this is going on, but that's being unstoppable, right? And so I thought, you know what, sometimes it's good to just stop, reflect. And a book project is always a good way to just kind of look at your heart, look at your journey, and see what good you have to give others because we get so accustomed to ourselves that we sometimes forget. But I love the title, Unstoppable.
Oh,
And I thought that was very indicative of who I am, who I aspire to be. It was just very descriptive of where I was right now. I was pushing through. Construction is hard in a man's world. You
girl,
got to.
I know. Now I know.
So I think that was part of it. And like I say, reconnecting with you from the former community, I just thought, oh, this would be great. And I thought about all the great women I'll get to meet. And I just say yes. It's like say yes, evaluate
Oh.
later.
I love it. Thank you, ladies. I mean, I love that because I think the last time we talked, I'm still doing the same thing, but Kimle, I think you were doing something a little different, and then you just like blossomed and evolved into the national president of, and it was so funny because it's like I have a construction firm and didn't even know that organization existed.
Oh,
So it was just
Mhm.
for me, it was just like, oh wow, I got wisdom and I got information that I didn't have before just by
Mhm.
reconnecting and having the conversation.
Yes,
So
yes.
it's
Mhm.
always a lot of
It
beautiful stuff that
was.
comes out of
It
this stuff.
was.
You
Okay,
know,
so
it,
my next, okay,
one thing though,
yes.
it's kind of cool. One of my prior jobs, I worked for 5 years for Arby's corporate office as a construction coordinator, and
Ah,
I was in Women in Construction.
Oh, you're
ah,
kidding.
No way. That's as soon as you
ah.
said that, I thought I know that organization.
Yeah.
Oh wow.
For
So
5 years, I
yeah,
was
so
in
she's
that.
there's the NAWIC, National Association of Women in Construction, and then because they were always carving a space for Black women, we put the National Association of Black Women in Construction. And
Awesome.
yes, if you were part of the Arby's property development, you were probably part of the NAWIC community. Many of us have dual memberships.
So
Mm-hmm.
cool.
Mm-hmm. That is beautiful.
Mhm.
See how what like
There's another
we
connection thread running right
exactly,
through.
exactly. How amazing is that? We couldn't have planned it if we tried.
No.
Right?
I
That's why
never
I'm like,
tell people about that because it's been so long ago. That's
but
so
see how
crazy.
funny that is? It's like we had
Yeah.
this
But it
con-
is.
connection. Anyways,
Mhm.
my next question is, okay, so with regards to being an unstoppable woman, what would you say are a few characteristics or traits that unstoppable women exhibit that others don't? And I'm gonna start with you, Kimle, because everybody's not an unstoppable woman. Even though some people think they are, we know we unstoppable women recognize other unstoppable women. So,
Yes.
Kimle, what would you say are a few characteristic traits?
I think the number one characteristic is their focus. There's a lot of clarity. You're clear on what it is you are achieving, and obstacles are going to come. Challenges may arise, but you've already seen the prize and you're just going to get it. I mean, there's just no other alternative. I think that's the number one
Going back.
characteristic of someone who's unstoppable, unstoppable women is we're clear, we've seen it, and we are focused. And that clarity, I won't say it fosters a drive, but it fosters a real deep connection to what it is you're going after, and it just kind of pulls you forward. So you just kind of can't stop. A second characteristic is oftentimes we find the value that others are going to benefit. And so because it's connected to others, we're really driven like, oh, there's people who's going to benefit from this, and I am not stopping because I owe that to them.
Right,
And they're going to
right.
get this. They're going to get this blessing. And so
I
I was
like that.
focused, and that connection to that is a greater reward for others.
I love that. What about you, Vicki? What are your thoughts?
So I think part of my deal is that my word of the year is persistence. And so I was thinking, persistence, and so if you put it out to 4 different steps in this year, is women such as us should be persistent, consistent, going after those small slight edge things that compounded over time. Oh my God, what great things we can do with those small steps. So persistence, and then active listening, especially for those of us that are on this multimedia type of situation where it's not only the voice, but active listening in the words that are being said and how they're being said, and really listening to how we can help the people that we're serving, and then having courage to say yes, to be able to do things that are outside of your comfort zone, to push yourself constantly, to accept change as inevitable and just go with it. Don't sweat it. Just say, okay, well, what's next? How am I going to do this? And then finally, to have empathy. I'm a heart-centered leader. I think that everything that I do as that team leader, as a project manager, as whatever my role is, has to be led from the heart, using my gut. So if you just remember pace, persistence, active listening, courage, and empathy, you'll have a great start for a great year.
Oh, I love it. I love
That's
that.
awesome.
It's beautiful. Now, there are moments in all of our lives where we, you had your Wonder Woman or your Catwoman suit on, or your Supergirl, whatever it is that you relate to, but you had your badass suit on, and you just knew you were unstoppable. You had your 5-inch pumps, and you strutted like you were Naomi Campbell on the catwalk. You just owned it, right? Okay, we all have those moments. What is a moment that you can think of right now where you felt like badass Naomi Campbell strutting and making that $15,000 an hour on that catwalk and doing it and owning it like nobody's business? Let's start with you, Kim Lee.
One of those moments where you knew I'm on top of the world.
Yes,
I got this.
exactly.
Well, I often call it from Amish country to the arena. So many don't know that I lived in rural Ohio, where I attended a very, very small school. I came from a class of 6 in graduation. That's how small the school was. But I went from that woman and all the growth along the way to become a contractor working on a major stadium being built in the city of Detroit. Here it is. It's an arena. And you're walking on those grounds of an arena that you're building. Your team is on that project. And it was nothing but because you were persistent and you said, I'm going to be there, and you did it. And so that was one of those moments that I'll never forget. Amish country to the arena.
Wow. I see the beautiful picture of you, one of 6 in this graduating class in, the Amish country. I've been to a little part of it, and it's very, very rural, right? All of a sudden, fast forward, here you are in the big motor city of Detroit, Michigan, on a major construction project that is involved with a stadium where you could probably fit 100,000 of those little schools you graduated from in the stadium, right? And I can see that Kimle and this Kimle. And yes, I would definitely say
that was a Wonder Woman moment.
Yeah, that definitely was. I could see you there with we need your blue glasses though, with your blue and red glasses on, and yo Kimberly badass dance, because that is. I mean, that's truly what unstoppable women do, and I do believe that all of us unstoppable women were those little girls when we were playing outside, because our age range, we played outside. So we were those little girls playing outside. We were the sassy ones. We were always in the mix. We were directing people on what to do. Like I grew up with boys, so I was always playing football, baseball stuff. And I'm like, I always wanted to be this. You needed to be over here. I'm always been directing it. Naturally, what makes sense that I would grow up and be the owner of a firm in the construction industry and have nothing but men around me and men employees. I mean, that would just make total sense. But I do believe that every unstoppable woman had that unstoppable ability in her as a little girl, and maybe didn't recognize what it was. Sometimes we might have got in trouble from being mouthy or, whatever, but we had that trait in us as little girls, and it just evolved into something beautiful. Now, what about you, Vicki? What moment can you share with us where you had, and you just knew you were at that unstoppable moment in your life?
Goodness gracious. I'm 64, so I've got a few moments. But, I think I'm going to take it in a slight different way. One of the things that I teach is to be confident online and to, just go out there and just accept what happens and not worry about it. So I am a lector for my church, and I had on a new outfit and a new pair of shoes. And I just, as I came in, some people commented how great I looked and everything. So I walk in and I do go up to the altar, which was being live streamed. And I am going to be doing the first reading. And I walk up and I'm halfway there, right in front of the ambo, and I completely fell off my shoe.
Oh, shoot.
Down to the ground, popped back up, walked up to the ambo, read my reading, turned around, came back, and I still am a lector. The point is that we fail, and it's how we react to it that makes us that superwoman, that Wonder Woman. And I could have just died. I could have not been able to do anything, but I didn't. I acted like nothing happened. I assumed that there were people that didn't see, and there were other people that did. And I was praying that there was great editing.
Oh my gosh. Okay, I have to share this with you. So for 17 years, I was a lector at my church, my Catholic church. And I was selected by this priest. It was a thing that I'm like, I could never do that. His masses had like 3, 4, 2,500 to 4,000 people at it. And I really wasn't like, I was speaking and doing stuff like I had spoken on Capitol Hill and stuff like that. But, this was different because I would see these people in my community. Right. And the influential people were the ones that attended this particular mass. Right. Awesome. So here I am. And he's like, I want you to read. I'm like, Father Matthew, I can't do that. He's like, why? I said, well, there's 2 reasons. One, every graduation I've ever had from kindergarten through college, I've always fallen when I went up to get my diploma, my certificate, either falling up the stairs or falling down. So my vision is I'm going to either fall up going up or fall coming down. And then I said, the second thing is I'm reading and I don't want to say a word or mispronounce a word incorrectly. And he said, Rochele, first of all, when you read, you just say it with confidence because nobody's going to be looking at the missile left. They're going to be looking at you. So they don't know if you say it wrong or whatever, they just be all into you. And I'm like, and he says, and if you happen to fall, don't worry. Me and the other priests will be your angels and we'll lift you up and, in God's grace. And I was like, okay. Well, I never did fall up or down those stairs in those 17 years. But it's funny that because I'm like, oh my God, that was my nightmare. I was like, oh my, that totally, because I've fallen at I'm telling you, every single graduation, from kindergarten, 6th grade, 8th grade, high school, first grade. Yeah, it was a mess. So I'm very clumsy. So it's kind of funny, but you just keep on rolling with it, and that's what we do, right? Okay,
That's
so
right.
my next question, ladies, is there's been a moment in all of our lives where we're confronted by being stoppable. I know I've had quite a few, and if you're a business owner, you've had your share, and even if you're not, you had your share, whether you want to admit it to yourself or not. Okay, there's these moments, but it's in that moment of being stoppable that we did something to break through that fear that was keeping us stuck. And what I want you to share, ladies, with the listeners now is, in that moment, or a moment you can think of when you felt like just saying, oh, the heck with this, this is, it's too much. I'm just going to let it go. And you didn't. What was it that led you to keep going forward? And what was the result after you pushed through that challenge of being stuck or fearful or stoppable? What was the result of you pushing forward with that challenge? And I'm going to start with you, Vicki.
Well, as we said, I have the anti-aging and wellness company, and I joined them just because of the real results that you get. So when you're in this, we share products and we share what our results are and things like that. And anybody that gets into it, nobody likes sales. And right away you think, well, I'm selling things. And if somebody says no, I'm devastated because they're saying no to me, right? They're saying something's wrong with me. And so the thing that was stoppable was that feeling initially, because you haven't got the confidence about what you're doing. What took me to the next level was I started in like August of 2015. And at Christmas time, one of the partners put out a Christmas tree, and the challenge to us was, fill this Christmas tree with as many no's as you can. And I thought, well, what? Fill this Christmas tree with as many no's as you can. And the whole thought process was that in amongst all of that tree full of no's, you're going to hit a yes. And that yes is going to feel better than all those no's put together. And so in that, challenge, I did get yeses, and I did start to grow my business. And then it just made the perspective of the no's so much different, because I thought, I talk to people all the time about, what great food that I had, or what great movie I went to, or what great magazine I read or book I read. And nobody says, oh, well, I don't want to talk to you about that. Nobody has that attitude. And so whenever you look at what I do is, I truly want you to look better, to feel better, to live better. And all I'm sharing with you is how you can get there. If you want to, you can. Just like if you want to go to that movie, you can. But if you don't, my life doesn't end. My world doesn't crush. It's okay. So fill your tree with no's.
Oh, I love that. That's beautiful. Wow, that totally turns something that is viewed as a negative, right? And we all do it, a rejection, they're rejecting me or whatever, into something that's actually very positive. And so, that was, you guys, nugget of gold right there. Okay, Kim Lee, now I want you to share what happened for you.
So I have a coaching business as well. That's when we met. I was developing my coaching business.
Yeah.
Excuse me. It's Positive Sisters. Sisters is an acronym for self-improvement, simply takes education, redevelopment, and sincerity. And I was starting to work on my own self-esteem. So I was not one of those unstoppable little girls telling everybody what to do. I was that little girl that was hidden off in the corner. You didn't even know I existed. From a large family of 10, I was like, I could hide away. I had no identity. And as I start owning myself, and this gift was a gift for others. So I was into the career of marketing and advertising, and I saw all the media. We were always feeling bad about ourselves, and I struggled because I had dark skin. And this is long before my Black is Beautiful campaigns. This is the '60s that hues of skin determine your future.
Right.
And so I was on the back burner. It was a done deal. I had the wrong complexion. And so I started this organization and I saw it in my mind. I said, we're going to gather these women together. We're going to have a luncheon, empowerment luncheon with some keynote speakers and a fashion show. And the fashion show is called Real Women Like Us, Redefining Our Beauty. And the models are all shapes, sizes, ages, and colors.
Nice.
And so I talked to one of my key friends, girlfriends, and I attribute this whole growth to her. And I said, oh, you could be one of my speakers. And she was like, oh, yeah, I could do that. So we were planning and planning. And this is like in the summer. And it was the first day was going to be November 8th. About September, the fear started kicking in. I can't do this. I can't do this. And so about early October, I said, I'm going to cancel. And I just going to cancel the event. And she was like, you're going to do it. She was calling to say, hey, I'm calling to confirm my speaking engagement. I said, oh, I canceled it. I'm not going to do it. She said, you're not going to do it. Why? I don't have any tickets. I don't know how to make ticket sales. We don't have this, that, another. She said, meet me at my office when I get off work. And we're going to keep moving. We're not canceling. And I was like, okay. Well, she didn't tell me she got off work at 9 p.m. at night. But I was there. And we sat there and we went through it and she started talking through it. And she said, oh, we can get Eventbrite. Eventbrite was just coming out. You get tickets online and we're going to do this. And we mapped this thing out. And in just hearing it on the outside of me being a possibility, it just made me say, you know what? I'm not going to stop right here. And so I got on the phone. I just started calling people. I'm doing this event. It's going to be held here. I know the next day we're going to get the venue. I called and say, let's go here. And they said, yes. Gave us this amazing discount too. And so we went and got the venue and got the menu and everything. And I was just calling around and then somebody would say, oh, this furrier said they're going to provide furs for your fashion show. I'm like, okay. And then Ashley Store, the big chain store, said they'll, take care of our full figure models. Women came from Jackson, Michigan, which is like an hour and it's like 90 minutes. Women start calling from all over. They wanted to be a part. When we got done, after me agreeing not to hold myself hostage, we had 35 women from this Metro Detroit area that came and walked that stage. And we did that till 2010 for a 10-year run.
Wow.
Spring and fall. And women came, thousands of women came and they owned themselves. Maybe they were coming out of a divorce and they took to that runway and they said, here I am. And then we start calling ourselves models of success. We're not just walking the runway. We would tell a bit about our story and how we made some wins in our lives. And then we'll strut. We had makeup artists flying from Iowa to Michigan to be a part of this. And it was
Wow.
just amazing. And the Positive Sisters movement, it was no longer a business, a movement was birthed. And I've seen women own themselves. And that all started in a small room of a massage parlor at 9 p.m. because I said, I
So
will
cool.
be unstoppable and keep moving.
Wow.
Oh, wow. I love that story. You two have some amazing story, but the stories are what is they're not even worth their weight in gold because
Mhm.
there's nothing that can equal how much they're worth, right?
Yes,
I mean, your
yes.
story that you just shared was like you were like ready to say, to heck with it. I'm done. Whatever.
I
And
can't do that.
right. And isn't it funny the divine works in,
Yeah.
mysterious ways. Like the three of us, we doing this, you all had construction, we all have construction ties. We're all unstoppable women. I had the connection with Vicki that I was afraid I was gonna fall going up. to the altar to read at the elbow, and she actually did. You know, I mean, I mean, it's just like, you know, it's a beautiful thing, because when we come together as women, like we're coming together, not only with this project that we're doing, but and just in the spirit of just being loving and supportive of each other. You find that there's a lot of commonalities. And even though, Kimle, you may have been not that little girl like me bossing people around, you had a different way of mesmerizing people that allowed you and them to stand in their greatness. And you just, as I think, as you traveled down your path to bliss, so to speak, just different aspects evolved, and that's what led you to be that unstoppable woman. So, I mean, just one of the many things. But you know, you are from a family of 10, and I know that there was a lot, you know, of you know, interaction with your siblings and stuff that actually helped you develop the character. See, I'm only from a family of 2, and I was the oldest, and when I was little, he did what I told him to do. And then when he got to be as big as me, you know,
you got to back off.
Right, exactly. Yeah, exactly. So, but it's just beautiful. I mean, these are the stories and that we need to share with the world, because every woman out there can relate to our stories.
Yeah.
If there's a story, there's a woman or many women out there that can relate to our stories, but sometimes, because it's internal within them, they can't see the greatness or the movement beyond what they're going through, right? And then they see just off the cuff somebody like us having this conversation, and they're like, oh, you know, that's me. That's how she did it. I can do it too. So that's why these things are so powerful and so beautiful in the book Unstoppable, which you guys will be able to get next month. Stay tuned and keep in contact with these ladies. Is going to be really, really a good thing. And I just want to again say thank you to you ladies for being a part of it. Now, I want to ask you one more question. No, I'm going to do two more questions, because I can. It's my show. That bossy little girl coming out. You know. So, ladies, when you think of an emotion related to being unstoppable, what comes to mind for you? And I'm going to go ahead and start with you, Kimle. What comes to mind for you when you think of an emotion?
My emotion is gratitude, because no matter what challenge I experience, I allow grace and gratitude to guide me. And I can be in a tizzy, something hasn't worked, or things are going great, just this essence of gratitude. And I would say that's my emotion that grounds me. I often talk about, I guess, because of construction, but if you think of a tiled floor, there's multiple squares across your kitchen floor, you know, the tile patterns. And any emotion you're feeling at that time, you can give yourself permission to step out of one square to the next square.
Oh, I
And
love
I
it.
call that square gratitude. It's not going good, but how can I step out of that state that's not serving me and step into gratitude? So my emotion is gratitude, grace, and gratitude. And I use grace because a lot of times we are hard on ourselves. I didn't. And I would say, just imagine yourself talking to the little girl across the street that's going through what you're going through. You might have a little more grace. So I'll picture your emotions on someone else and then extend grace to yourself. So I would say gratitude and grace are my emotions that has made me unstoppable.
Oh man, where's my? I should have brought the microphone, because that's definitely here. My pencil's gonna be it. That's a mic drop right there. Wow, beautiful. I
Yeah.
told you we were bringing these special ladies to you all this evening, and there's somebody watching us that are like, yes, you are. These ladies are absolutely super special. So now, Vicki, what emotion comes up for you, or emotions come up for you when you think of being unstoppable?
Well, I agree a lot with gratitude and gratefulness. I think, every day I say I start my day with gratitude and I end my day with gratitude. But I think one of the things we as women need to do, and you touched a little bit on this, Kimle, is we have to love ourselves. as much as we try to love other people. So often, I think what keeps us from getting to where we need to go is we really don't love ourselves. We really don't trust in what we can do. And we think that it's, self-centered or, egotistical to love ourselves. But, God put us on this earth to love one another and to be thankful for who we are, what we are. And so I think you have to start each day, and you have to really accept that who you are is here for a purpose. And if right now it's kind of messed up and screwed up, love yourself enough to get to that next square, to be able to understand that everything that's going on is for a reason and for a purpose, and it's making you stronger and it's making you unstoppable. You just have to love your way through it.
Yes.
And so I think love is probably the emotion that guides me. I just, when I'm down, I just think of the love that I get from my 2 grandkids, which is so unconditional. It's like my 2-year-old grandson runs up to me, Oma, as if I'm the best ice cream sandwich or popsicle is what his, the best thing he's ever seen. And that's how you should love yourself, like my 2-year-old grandson.
Oh, I love that. Oh my gosh. Well, ladies, has been an amazing time with you. And before we go, I just want you to share with the listeners and the viewers how they may be able to, first of all, get in contact with you. And there'll be a link. There'll be a link in the description of the show for sure for you to get, more connected with you. But how could someone that, you may have really touched something in them that stirred up? First of all, y'all can get the book. It's going to be coming out. And I sound like a crazy woman, but it's going to be coming out because this is just the icing, just a little taste of what's inside the book, Unstoppable. And so that's why I'm being adamant about you guys can pick up the book. It's going to become available. Keep your eyes and ears open all over social media. We're going to be all over the place with the book. But ladies, if someone wants to get in contact with you right now, how can they do that? Kimle, go first, please.
Well, you can contact me by visiting my website, for one, positivesisters.com. You can visit my website, positivesisters.com, or you can find me also on my construction sites, which is nailrite.com, Nailrite, playing off my last name, Naylor. Or just find me on Facebook, facebook.com, Kim Lee Naylor. I'm there every morning doing some inspiration for us all as you're getting some movement and meditation in. And I think that's a great place to connect with me in social media.
Perfect. Thank you, Kimle. And Vicki, how can, people that want to touch it and reach out and touch you, how can they do that?
So if you're trying to look longer, live longer, feel better, you can go to vickinoethling.neora.com. But you can also get me on Facebook. I have a page called Grow Your Confidence, but my name on Facebook is Victoria Ann Noethling. You can just also email me at vicky.noethling@gmail.com. I love to get emails from folks.
Well, thank you, ladies. It was a pleasure having you on the Blissful Living show. And I was double dipping because I got some good stuff. But it was a pleasure to have you on the show. It warms my heart to have. I mean, this is just, I think, a beautiful, beautiful conversation that we had. And I'm in awe. If I wasn't so busy trying to be the show host, I would have been taking notes. And hopefully you guys listening, watching, took notes. But if not, you can always subscribe to the show. You can always replay the show. You can go to YouTube, LinkedIn, Facebook, wherever. You can definitely find it at YouTube. But again, the show will be airing again, audio only. And so you just need to subscribe so you get those messages about when this is happening in advance. So you can just plug in, and then you can have these words of wisdom that these ladies shared with you forever.
It was so great meeting you, Kim Lee. I'm
Nice meeting you as well.
I'm gonna go follow you for sure.
Thank you.
Right? Exactly. I mean, that's the beautiful thing about this is
Yeah.
you never know. Everything is unscripted. It's just clear. It's open. It's free flowing, and we just ebb and flow in the harmony that we have been put together in the love, the harmony, the gratitude, the grace for each other's wisdom. So, thank you, ladies. Thank you to our sponsors, Blissful Living for You at Blissful Living, the number 4, the letter U.com, as well as All Day Cable Incorporated at alldaycableinc.com. I am the queen of feeling fabulous, Rochele Marie Lawson. And until next time, here's a couple things. Pay attention to Facebook, LinkedIn, Twitter, all social media, because this book, Unstoppable, Being Fierce, Fearless, and Unfuckwithable, is coming out soon, very, very soon. And you're going to want to pick up your copy, but also you can get it on any of our websites as well. But I am going to wish you peace to your mind, wellness to your body, and tranquility to your spirit. Until next time, be healthy, wealthy, and wise, and definitely unstoppable. Goodbye for now.
Bye-bye, everybody.
Bye-bye.